So much going on in boxing. I'm trying to catch up to everything going on. The weekend has started. I think the weigh-ins were today. They should be over with by now. They got 2 days left for the fight. People hopping out of fights. People being put into fights. It's an insane situation. We're gonna talk about all of that. Claressa Shields suspended for smoking a little bit of ganja. What the hell's going on here? Also, we got what else we got? We got apparently Tank Davis will be heading out to Saudi Arabia. Rumor has it. Apparently his ears are open to possibly making a fight happen with Shakur Stevenson in May. Let's talk about that. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, we're just going to get right into it, but I got a special guest, my man, Absolutely Boxing, coming on right after this. My guy, what's the word?
Yo, what's going on, Norbs?
Chillin'. I got my guy, Absolute Boxing, on the show today. What's poppin', my guy?
Oh, nothing. I'm excited to be here. You know, we link up on lives and we do, we chop it up here and there. It's good to just have me and you officially and just break this stuff down, what's going on, because, boxing's crazy right now with this big headlining card coming up this weekend. We got things dropping like flies, and it's kind of nuts. So it'd be excited to get into this and just let everybody know what's going on.
No, I mean it's just too much going on. I know most people have covered everything, so I'm trying to stay as current as possible. And stuff just keeps dropping out of the sky, and it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. And again, we're gonna go over some of that stuff, but there's more stuff that's been breaking right now that people want to know about. But just going on my Instagram alone, you can see everything that's going on. Was it Dubois and Joseph Parker canceled? Another person goes down with a sickness. I mean,
What's that?
huh?
What's going on? What's these illnesses all about, man?
I don't know if that's a legit thing. I mean, when stuff just starts happening like that, but you got to question it, especially what we've seen with Schofield, right? I mean, I'm hearing all types of rumors that it was more so about his weight. I don't know if the pressure got to him. They said he was sick. The British Boxing Commission said, all right, you're sick. We're going to send you to the hospital. He's all over there tubed up. His son's putting almost rest in peace videos out for his son. I just don't get it. I mean, people were killing him and are still killing him. And honestly, I still don't believe that he was sick. But the one thing that does help his case is Dubois having to back out because he's sick. What do you think about everything? What you been hearing, actually?
So I heard the exact same things, and so something smells fishy. Like this whole thing's off. So, right, like just breaking down the whole situation. Like Floyd Schofield has been begging for this fight, and I mean he has been all over. Him and his father both have been all over social media, calling them all out. And Shakur Stevenson took the bait and gave him a shot. Floyd Schofield is technically his. Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya said he's not ready for this fight, but he still wanted it, so he went for it. So Golden Boy made it, and he wanted it bad. So just for him to be salivating so bad over this fight and to make it to fight week is kind of crazy that he all of a sudden gets sick and is unable to fight. And point two to that, the pre-weigh-ins are Wednesday. So the British Eddie Hearn explained that the British Boxing Commission is the only commission in the world that has a pre-weigh-in that you have to be a certain weight amount before going into the official weigh-ins. And people are coming out on Monday and Tuesday saying that Schofield was concerned about this, but you have 2 days before, 1 to 2 days before the pre-weigh-in. Yeah. There's nothing to be concerned about. You can deplete yourself just fine. I think the weight thing is ridiculous. I think he actually got sick. how he got sick and why he got sick smells fishy to me, and why Daniel Dubois got sick and it got actually sick is also fishy to me. So I don't know what your thoughts are on it.
I mean, it's definitely it just reeks. It reeks of bad business. And now you got a question: is it coming from Turkey Al Sheik's side of the situation? Was there a certain amount, a certain budget? I mean, people are not going to question that because, to everybody's knowledge, the money is unlimited there, right? But is there now becoming a budget or something in regards to where they're saying, hey, let's pump the brakes on spending all of this money, let's budget it like this, and maybe, just maybe, the buys weren't up there, the pre-buys, because it is a pay-per-view event. Maybe, just maybe, they were like, oh, we're over budget on this event. Maybe let's not have Eminem come down. Maybe let's not pay for all these celebrities to come down. Maybe it's becoming a situation to where you're overspending in these situations. And if anybody knows business, nobody likes to be in the red. Nobody. I don't care how much money you make, and this event couldn't have been cheap. And you're overpaying these boxers by far. They're not seeing
Yes.
the amount of money that Turkey Al Sheikh is paying. So you may want to start questioning that situation. And all of a sudden, you got this guy's sick, that guy's sick. I think Schofield played himself, and I think that maybe because Shakur was such a big person on this card, that really hurt sales, and maybe Dubois ended up getting a little flu after that. Like, oh, let's wait for the next event. I don't know. It just, it's not like it's not a history of them kind of not selling. I mean, when they did the LA event with Bud Crawford, what did he say? They were giving away seats. They couldn't sell. They weren't selling pay-per-views at $70. They brought it down to $20 or something like that. I think it's deeper than that. I don't think Dubois is sick at all. I do believe there's something else that's in the air, and I think it may be, again, maybe the powers that be are saying, hey, what we're putting out is not showing up on the other side.
Now let me pose something interesting to you that is to your point.
Yeah.
So what people need to realize, and some people probably do, most people probably do, some people probably don't. Turkey Al Sheikh, he is His Excellency to entertainment, right, for Saudi Arabia. His Excellency to entertainment. So basically, they're paying for entertainment, and I know it's business, and it's not about. Technically, they're paying for entertainment. So they put these blockbuster cards together, like the one in LA and the one we're going to see on Saturday, to entertain Saudi Arabia and fans around the world. Now, when that falls on its face and that becomes not popular, then that's when you have to rewind. And what I really believe is they signed Canelo to a 3-fight deal. Right? That's official, 3-fight deal. So you have May, September, and then you have May of 2026. May of 2026 is going to be Canelo's retiring last fight, guaranteed. So basically, I believe that the Turkey Al Sheikh and the Saudi Arabia regime is recouping losses from this entertainment that has not been so entertaining. And I think it's a long game for them. And that's my opinion. What say you?
I think it's a great analysis what you're saying, first of all. And secondly, why do you think they were so desperate to get Canelo? I mean, think about it. Canelo is probably the only one that makes the money back. Regardless of what you say, he is the cash cow. Not Gervonta, not Ryan Garcia, Canelo Alvarez. He's the one that's selling 60,000 seat arenas in Mexico. He's the one that does the most average on pay-per-views. And I think they felt like they needed to recoup. I agree with you. And I guarantee you the cards that Canelo's on aren't going to be stacked cards. I don't think they're going to be like this. I agree. I think they are having problems recouping. I feel like they are taking on a lot. And another thing that's to me is crazy is you got a point that 3 of the 4 fights are in Saudi Arabia too, which is weird, right? Which to me is like, why wouldn't they be in America? Why wouldn't? And it just doesn't make sense to me, right? But I'm kind of with you in the sense that maybe this game plan that he had isn't necessarily working for him. And they may try to go out and get now a Benavidez versus Canelo, or I mean, I don't know, but they're definitely, I think, hurting. That's why I think they're fielding offers for Javante Davis now. I heard he's flying in. They're
Yep.
probably going to overpay him to fight Shakur, overpay Shakur. They're trying to build as much revenue as possible and make some of that money back. Again, I don't care how much money you have. Nobody likes to be in the red. And everybody that thinks that Turkey LSC has this unlimited budget, I don't believe it is. I think they have a lot of money, but I believe there is a cap on that. And the return is not greater than the reward. I mean, the return is not as great as what they've been putting out. So I'm
Absolutely. So like again, people need to realize his title, His Excellency in Charge of Entertainment.
Yeah.
So if he's not entertaining Saudi Arabia, if Saudi Arabia is not getting behind the regime and the people of Saudi Arabia are not getting behind what he's doing, then the money you're spending is a wasting. So I firmly believe in May of 2026 in Cinco de Mayo, Canelo's last fight. I don't think we're ever going to hear from Turkey Al-Sheikh again.
That's a possibility. And I think another thing of the business model is this that doesn't make sense. People don't travel to Saudi Arabia to watch fights. So for the first couple times, it might be like, oh, this is great. But they're probably paying more people to come in and fly them in private jets than they're actually getting people to buy seats. I've never heard anybody over here say, hey, man, I'm flying out there for the fight. And I think that's another thing. I don't get it. You might as well do the fights in the United States and see what's good. So to me, I mean, I feel like they're banking a lot on Canelo Crawford. They're banking a lot on that. I think they're going to try to, they got the Ryan Haney fight. We don't know where the location is for that, but they're banking on recouping on that. And you might be right. Unless these events turn over profit, you may be right. The last straw might be Canelo's third fight. I'm with you on that one. I like that analysis.
Thank you, sir.
No, listen, nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that because everybody thinks they're just out there like, hey, listen, I want $200 million. I want $300 million. Bro, nobody wants to get overpaid. And I mean, nobody wants to lose money, man. And the Turkey Al-Sheikh clearly is answering to somebody. If you might not think he is, he is.
Well, look at how many promoters are on these events. I mean, this is one. We have 6 promoters, right? Yeah. Golden Boy, Top Rank, Queensberry, Matchroom, Boxer, TG. I mean, you have 6 promoters on one event. They all need to get paid, and all their fighters need to get paid. So this is.
I mean, there's too many people getting paid. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, the promoters, the boxers that are fighting, the boxers that aren't fighting. You don't think that they're gonna pay like they were paying these celebrities to come in? They were paying these people to show support just so it looks bigger. You don't think they were paying Eminem? They weren't paying Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott for a stupid, I don't even know what the hell that was. Show. They're just spending money like they're just printing it out. And I mean, I don't even want to begin to think how much money this card actually is right here. And honestly, it's looking like a dud financially. It might be a great card, but financially, I haven't heard anybody talk about this card. I haven't heard anybody purchase the card. I've seen people say, hey, the Fire Stick gang is out here. I mean, I don't know, man. It's looking bleak, but hopefully, things turn around, or maybe we're just both full of shit in this situation. Who knows?
No, I mean, I wish you were right, but we're not, because the fact of the matter is the way you make money on a card is to get the casuals involved. And case in point, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson on Netflix got overwhelming views that it crashed the site, and you need like hundreds of millions and even billions of views to where the only people that are buying this card are me and you and all the rest of the boxing heads.
Yeah.
No, there's no casual that knows any name on his card.
No.
Period.
And
so
to your point, Dmitry Bivol and Beterbiev is a all-time great fight in my opinion. But the problem is they're not all-time names. They just aren't. And I think they made a big mistake in having the card as a headline with all these people, because I guess they felt like, we make this monster card, everybody's gonna buy. No, people buy hype. People buy BS. I mean, Jake Paul has it down to a T. They bought Mike Tyson versus Jake. I didn't buy it, but you know what I mean. They tuned in for that. People are probably more people are gonna tune in and watch Gervonta March 1st, which nobody wants to see that fight, and more people are gonna tune in. So I feel like we may be on to something right now, in the fact that boxing may be in a lot of trouble, especially if Turkey LLC can't turn this into a profitable business. They went and bought the Ring magazine. They thinking, hey, this nostalgia can bring it back. It's just spending. I haven't heard one thing about, hey, we made about 50, 60, 70, 80 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can imagine Canelo's deal. I can only imagine that his deal is well over a couple $100 million. I can almost guarantee it.
They're spending to appease the boxing heads like me and you, like the ones that are into boxing and follow it and know it and love it. Like every move they're making just makes us happy, but you're not gaining any. Right? I had a conversation with a boxing Mark Robertson, the mad scientist of boxing, and we talked about, like, in the 1980s when we were both growing up. Like, I remember sitting around the TV with my family, with my dad, my mom, and my brothers, and watching boxing, like title fights on Tuesdays, and it was a family event. And that is no longer the case, and that's fine. But you have to do something to get the fan that doesn't like or follow boxing to actually come want to see it. That's what you have to do.
No, absolutely. And then you're beefing with Jake Paul, taking shots at somebody that
Jake Paul's awesome.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. You're going against someone that has a large fan base. Like, it is ridiculous the power this man actually has. And Turkey said, "Hey, I'm banking on Canelo, and whatever. That's it." And that whole situation where Canelo used Jake Paul as leverage. That might really be burning burning inside of Jake Paul, and that may never. Jake and Turkey may be at war for years because of that.
That's a good point. And it would behoove them to get Jake Paul involved, to get the casual fans over. Yeah. But like you're saying, they might have burned a bridge, bro.
A serious bridge. And Jake Paul, what is he, 27? People say whatever. He's not. He hasn't beat this. He hasn't beat that. But all of the real boxers combined, outside of a Canelo, don't sell as much as Jake Paul. It is what it is. And MVP Promotions is doing very, very well. They're doing very well right now. So, next couple of years is going to be very telling to see where boxing goes. I love this subject right here, man. But I'm definitely excited for this card, regardless of the financial things. We got my man Bivol versus my man Arthur Beterbiev. I'm super looking forward to the fight. I know everybody's doing prediction block. I don't want to go through the whole card and do predictions. I'm pulling for Beterbiev, and the fact that David Benavidez is agreed to fly in to stand ringside gives me nostalgia feeling of back then when there's a call out coming, and I feel like if Beterbiev wins that fight, Benavidez is going to be right in that ring, and we're going to get Beterbiev versus David Benavidez somewhere around September, October. I love it. What's your take?
Hey, to your point, it doesn't matter who wins the fight. If Bivol wins, then he gets all the belts, and Benavidez can go in there and go face to face with him. But
no, there's a guaranteed third fight. If Bivol wins, it's all out rematch. So that's why we would have to kind of be rooting for Beterbiev if we want to see Benavidez fight for that belt. So Beterbiev's going to win. We don't need to spend time on this at all because most of our opinions are correct. I think it's going to be the same outcome as last time. He might, because Beterbiev boxed well in the last fight, which is kind of funny that Beterbiev outboxed Bivol to win. And if Beterbiev got better, right? He already fought the opponent, so now he knows them. So he'll get better. He'll outbox him again. He might actually be able to land more and get the knockout this time. But I think it's Beterbiev by unanimous decision again. You know what's crazy? I was talking to John Iceman Scully, and he was telling me, listen, we know what we have to do better, right? But we won the fight. in order for him to win the fight, and this is coming from Bivol himself, he felt like he has to do more. Which, what does that do? It puts him in harm's way. This can be a stoppage because he may feel like he has to do more. He's the one that lost the fight doing what he was doing, getting on his bike. He may have to stand his ground, and that may be detrimental to him and cause Better Beef to knock him out. So I think it could end in a KO. I don't think Better Beef. Listen, once Bivol started feeling the power, he really was like, you know what? I got to get on this bike for a while. And if mentally he's going in there saying, hey, listen, I have to stand my ground in order. I got to do it, die on my shield. It may end early. It might be by stoppage.
Look, you're right. I mean, we saw in the last fight that Bivol's face was all banged up from, right? This is well known. He even said it, that from Beater Biev hitting his glove and Bivol's own hand hitting his face is what caused all the damage to Bivol's face. So
I'll give you one better. So I had another conversation with Iceman Scully, and he said in a recent picture, maybe about a month ago, he still had bruising under his left eye from the fight. So if he has bruising a month ago, his body is not fully healed for this fight, which may be even worse because, you know, dumb punches are going to affect him a lot sooner than they was before because of the pain that he felt and not being fully healed. So, I mean, that was a really, when I seen what he said, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about it. And when I looked at the picture, his left eye was blackened. It was like green from, and they were saying it was from that fight. I don't believe it was from sparring. So it's going to be an interesting fight. Another fight that I'm really interested in is Ortiz versus Majimov. I really am hyped for that fight. It's a big challenge for. Is this Ortiz's second fight at 154? If I'm not mistaken, or was it
technically his third, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So Boachuk was his first opponent, right? Mm-hmm. So that was his second opponent because he fought. This is his third. He fought someone before he fought Boachuk.
Now we all were very impressed when he fought Bud Crawford, of course, and with Majimov, and now he's fighting another big fight. What do you think about that Ortiz fight?
I absolutely love 154 is my absolute favorite division. Yeah. It is completely loaded. It is completely stacked with a crazy amount of talent, and all the talent are not the same, but they're similar. Yep. They all want to bang it out. They all have good boxing abilities. They all have good chins. So they all want to go for it. And we get great exchanges and we get great action and we get fantastic boxing. Ortiz is relatively one-dimensional, to be honest with you. He's a come forward, bang it out boxer. His defense is pretty good for being a puncher thrower. Mm-hmm. But I think Madrimov, I think not only did he box well enough against T-Bud, right? We know he lost against him, but he boxed well enough, and I think he even learned more against Crawford.
Yeah, absolutely.
To put in his repertoire, and I think Madrimov is probably gonna outbox Ortiz here. I think we're going to have mix-ups. Ortiz is going to go for it. Madrimov's going to go for it. Madrimov's going to be in and out. Madrimov likes to come, right? So he likes to come in and then shoot off to his left or right to kind of get out of the way of the encounter and out of the way of the offense. I think we're going to see a lot of that. I would not be surprised if Madrimov handily beats Ortiz. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just saying surprise, but it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a banger. But I think Madrimov wins this by decision.
I think it's going to be a really good fight. And it's funny, to your point about 154 being your favorite division. It's mine also. It's probably the only division in boxing where you could name the top 10 boxers and know every name on there. And I'm talking about casuals. From Zoo to Charlo to Majimov to Bud to Spence. You could get to Xander Zayas. I mean, there's just a shitload of talent at 154, and it is absolutely crazy. It's scary. So I want to see how it turns out in that fight. I mean, I don't know who else we got. SHAKUR. I don't even know who he's fighting. I'm not even gonna lie to you, guys. I cannot tell you who he's fighting. Yeah, I thought he was fighting one of your cousins. I have no clue who he is, to be honest.
My last name's McCann. I'm Irish, so it could be very closely related. But so John Taddy, right? So the reason why he's getting this opportunity, he's an electrician, He's an electrician,
No
in,
way. You
Great
serious?
Britain. Yes, so he's a tradesman by day. I'm a tradesman, so shout out to the trades.
Shout out,
I do
shout
fire
out.
protection. I do
Facts.
fire protection. But so he's getting this opportunity because on the last Riyadh card, he upset Mark Chamberlain, who was a top contender in the lightweight division, and he was able to outlast him and take it to him. The problem with Patty is that he has no power. His boxing ability is completely subpar to Shakur Stevenson's, and this just seems like a runaway, probably a boring fight because Patty has no power. He's not going to sell out and go for it. It's going to be a normal, boring fight unless Patty does something that is unexpected, out of the realm. Like this is just going to be a 12 round or 12 rounds because it's for a title, and it's going to be pretty basic. So I'm sorry. I believe so.
See, this is the problem with this. With that, which I have some problem with what you said. It's not what you said. It is what you said, but I'm not mad at you for saying it. But for Shakur Stevenson, it can't be that, especially when right now Gervonta Davis is supposedly flying to Saudi Arabia to meet with the Sheikh. The Turkey, whatever his name is. And for people to want to buy this fight, I know people want to see it. Your last couple performances have been lackluster. There should be no reason as to why you shouldn't go in there trying to stop this man. And if you don't go and try to stop this man, more questions are going to arise about your hands. I'm tired of seeing the picture of him with both his hands all scarred up and looking crazy, looking like Dracula's feet. I mean,
you're right.
This can't be a fight to where it's going to be boring. This can't be a fight where he's just lingering around, pop shotting him. Shakur Stevenson needs to be extremely impressive because at this point he is being replaced at 135. Actually, at 135 as the favorite to see Gervonta Davis by his brother, quote unquote, Keyshawn Davis. And I think that pressure is starting to pile on so much that Shakur Stevenson came out recently and said he would fight Keyshawn Davis for the right amount of money. And I think it's a little bit deeper than what people believe. You know what I mean? So
that's crazy. That's crazy what you're saying, because Keyshawn Davis is on record saying that he would never, ever, 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 ever fight Shakur Stevenson.
Yes, and you've seen he tweeted out when he saw what Shakur said. He said, "Send a contract." Then, listen, that wasn't a friendly conversation, and I think Shakur is feeling the pressure of Keyshawn Davis gaining past him. And if you look at Keyshawn's last two performances, and if you look at Shakur's, who is more impressive, who has sold himself more, and who has put him in position for more people to see, it has been Keyshawn Davis. So I can't fathom to see Shakur run around and do the usual, or the last couple of things that he needs a Jamel Herring performance, if not better than that, in order to keep this dream of fighting Gervonta this year. I don't care how skilled you think you are, how great of an ability you have. People want to see you be dominant. Gervonta Davis is knocking everyone out, and that's why people are tuned in. And if it is anything less than a knockout in this fight, I believe that he's in trouble of losing that fight.
He's not going to do it because if he does it, he's going to break his hands. His hands will break. Both of them will break, and they'll break early.
Yeah.
And then he'll have to numb them up as he goes, and then he won't be able to knock out old Patty until 8th or 9th round, which everybody else will be. They'll say, "Why did it take you so long to knock him out?" Disregarding his hands. Yeah. And if his hands are broken, you're not going to see him for 7 months.
And again, what are we talking about? Selling the fight. Turkey wants his money back. Listen, if I'm Turkey Al-Asik and I don't see Shakur with a big win, or I'm looking at Keyshawn Davis, hey, what you doing in May? Are you free?
Yeah.
Let's make this fight happen. You have to sell this fight. And I think the pressure is mounting right now on Shakur. And again, like I said, that comment that he made about fighting his brother, Keyshawn Davis, I think there's more to that than what people are leading to believe right now, especially seeing Keyshawn. And I'm going to put it up right here real quick for everybody. He came out and said Shakur Stevens is finally open to the idea of fighting Keyshawn Davis. Don't be surprised. This is from the Andre Ward interview. And Keyshawn says send the offer in. I don't think that was a friendly send the offer in, bro. I really don't.
That's crazy.
I
That's
really
crazy.
don't. You know what I mean? I really believe, you know what they say, there's smoke, there's fire. You know, there's people around them both. You know, they're both in the same division. They both hold the same belt in that division, a major belt. Keyshawn understand. I think Keyshawn was hurt by that, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
You're right.
I think Keyshawn was like, bro, like I've been through it all with you since I was 13. You were there for me, and you're saying you would fight me?
Wow.
Yeah, I think this may be brewing. And again, you can't but help but look over your shoulder, man. That's supposed to be Shakur's fight, and a lot of people are saying, "Hey, man, I kind of like this Keyshawn guy over here a little better." So, you know, we're definitely gonna see. What fight was canceled? The Dubois got canceled. Now Parker's fighting.
Martin Bacoli.
Holy yes.
So
how do you feel about that?
Martin Bacoli was supposed to fight Efe Ajagba in May
Yeah,
or March. No, I'm sorry, March. He was supposed to.
you got it.
He was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight Efe Ajagba in March on a separate card, but Martin Bacoli is that dude that we saw when he knocked out Jared Anderson. His comments are, nobody can beat me. I am the man at heavyweight. I'm ready to prove it. And he's going to do it on Saturday. I think he knocks out Joseph Parker pretty easily.
With that less of time, though? I mean, do you think, listen, we've been around, you've probably been around some of these boxers, whatever. You think that he's prepared right now? I mean, Dubois just literally 2 days away from the fight. You think he's ready?
So Martin Bacoli is a different breed now. He has heavyweights are funny, right? With their styles, we have boxers, we have punchers, we have heavy hands, we have light hands that go through. So every heavyweight, right? It's at every division we have. So Martin Bacoli has the style of, I'm going to take every shot you give me until you tire out. Because Martin Bacoli is like a piece of iron, right?
Yeah.
He's a piece of iron, and he takes every shot. No matter how heavy-handed a heavyweight is, he takes every shot you will give. Yeah. And then once you're tired and can't react as fast and can't move as fast, that's when he knocks you out with his power. Bacoli is slow. He's big and slow. But he just tires you out, and then he knocks you out. And that is his style. And that's what it happened quickly against Anderson. It happens to all of his other opponents. He's a freak of nature that he's able to get jackhammered in his face for numerous rounds before he turns around and knocks you out. It's going to happen to Parker. Unless Parker, right? It's funny that Parker agreed to this. Parker knows what he's getting into. Parker called his fight against Anderson. He knows exactly who Bacoli is. Mm-hmm. So Parker must have a plan of some sort to be able to box him in order to take it 12 or 10. I don't know. Probably not title fights. It's probably 10 or 8, probably 10. So to take it 10 and be able to outlast him, but I don't know if that's going to work, and I think Bacoli knocks him out.
I mean, that's a big risk. Why would you take this man now after what you seen him do to Jared? How big of a risk is this for him?
Joseph Parker is a gatekeeper at this point. He's already he's already fought for the titles and has lost, but he's an elite, a quote unquote elite heavyweight boxer. Mm-hmm. So you have to beat Joseph Parker in order to have the shot for the title. And Joseph Parker knows his role, and that's why he's fighting Dubois, because he was going after the title. But if he could beat Dubois, then he would get the title. But if he lost and he's still Joseph Parker, and his status would never change. So why not go for it all? And it's a good fight for Dubois because you're fighting an elite challenger or contender for the heavyweight title. So it's a marriage for Dubois and Parker that's just fine. But now, since Dubois is gone, now you're getting he's reversing it and getting the gatekeeper role. So now Bacoli, when he beats Parker, is going to be definitely, because Bacoli and Ajagba were going to fight for that number one contender for Dubois, because they're both, I think Dubois has a WBA, is it? I believe. Mm-hmm. The WBA, whatever belt Dubois has that Yusuke forfeited, Bacoli and Ajagba were going to fight for the number 1 contender status, but fighting Parker gives him the same status. So this is what Bacoli's endgame is to beat Parker and eventually fight Dubois for the title so he can fight Yusuke for undisputed.
Yeah, I mean, this card is super dope. Still, like you said, you got the Big Bang. He's fighting on the card. I can't even say this guy. I can't even say his name. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But I mean, it's loaded, man. Hopefully, people support this card. Hopefully, people aren't turned off and they buy it. I got something in the chat saying after an oral swab, the commission found trace. We're gonna get into that. Let's move forward. The news just broke recently of Claressa Shields testing positive. I'm going to play the video.
I can't stomach much more.
This, according to Sky Sports, we're all over the world here. Breaking: Claressa Shields has been suspended from fighting in the state of Michigan by the Michigan Unarmed Combat Commission and is under investigation after testing positive for marijuana.
Wow. What? What?
That's fucking
I thought you were stepping onto the Riyadh talk for a second.
Claressa Shields heavyweight title.
For
Claressa Shields,
marijuana?
Joseph Parker.
Our home state.
What?
I thought marijuana wasn't a thing anymore.
I can't stomach.
So Claressa Shields is suspended for smoking a little bit of ganja. But check this out.
Yep.
So some I don't know this person named Smart Auntie writes, after an oral swab, the commission found trace amounts of marijuana consistent with secondhand contact. Additionally, she hugged and took pictures before the swab with more than 50 people after the fight. Listen, guys, I'm going to tell you this right now.
Go ahead.
I've been around 1 million people smoking bud next to me, on top of me, all over me, and I've never tested positive for weed. Let's be real. I don't care if she even did smoke weed. She definitely took some she took a couple blunts to the face, guys. She's a smoker. Who cares at this point? She shouldn't have been suspended. I don't believe that it was secondhand smoke. Like you're hugging 50 people, you're not gonna test positive for weed. It's an oral swab. It's in your mouth. This is, you know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. Like, she was definitely smoking. She was probably smoking before the fight, after the fight. Who cares? It's not PEDs. I don't give a shit. Like, should she have been suspended? Absolutely not. But it is kind of
I can't stomach
to see, like, the fact that they suspended her. You suspended her. Like, this is insane. I'm looking at Lou DiBella came out and said they didn't even suspend, what's her face? The other girl that got suspended for PEDs. But they uplifted it, a Bumgarner. That he was saying that he was saying
Alicia Baumgartner,
Alicia
yeah.
Baumgartner. I mean, who cares? Who cares? You know what I mean? In that regard, I don't get the whole smoking weed thing and like, come on, guys. Like, it's not a performance-enhancing drug. If anything, she was slower when she was throwing her punches. If she smoked a blunt or whatever when she fought, guys. Like, it's not something that enhances you during a game. In fact, I remember speaking to somebody, I'm not going to say his name, in the NFL. I used to hang out with a lot of the guys from the New York Giants, right? And all these guys would smoke. I'm not going to put on no names, whatever. And one particular football player told me he smoked before the game. And he said that when he lined up, he was a defensive back. He lined up against a receiver, and he said that never again would he smoke, that when he tried to move, his legs literally stood there. So it's not going to enhance you in any way, dude. It's going to give you the munchies. You might fall asleep, and you might just, you might be a whatever. I just don't get it. Why are we even testing for marijuana? Please.
Personally, I agree with you. I think it's idiotic. So I think that to even worry about marijuana, because it's not a PED, there is no physical or there's no physical advantage to it at all. So, but what I will say is I will be honest and say rules are rules. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, she knows better. Just like, now, I think PEDs are different. Like, Alicia Baumgartner, like, testing positive for PEDs. Yeah. Like, you're a jerk. Like, you're deceitful. You did some things that, like, you had an advantage over your opponent. But when it comes to weed, like, you're not supposed to do it. even though it gives you no advantage, and I know it's stupid,
Yeah.
but it's a rule that you can't do it, but you did it anyway. That's just like a willpower or like a screw you, I'm not going to get caught kind of thing. And I just think on that side of it, she should be. I don't want to say ashamed of herself because it's stupid, but she knows better. So she just shouldn't have done it until well after or I don't know. Like just whenever she should have done it. She shouldn't have done it when she'd done it in order to get caught for it. Like do it after when you're in training or something. Like who cares? But
the stupid part of this situation is this, and this, and again, I'm gonna bring the NFL analogy. These guys would smoke every day. I'm talking about ounces. It was crazy, right? But they knew when they could smoke and when they can't because they knew when they were going to be scheduled for a test. The fact that you failed this test, knowing that they were going to test you, and all you needed was a certain amount of time, it falls on you. It's ridiculous. You knew they were going to test you. I don't even know if every commission tests for weed because clearly Ryan Garcia was smoking bud before his fight.
Smoking something.
Yeah,
smoking something.
Yeah, so to me, it's like I'm with you. I don't think she should have been suspended for this. I think it's unnecessary, but at the same time, the rules are the rules, and you knew what it was. And I don't know, man. It's just stupid for people that believe it's secondhand smoke. Guys, listen. I've been around weed my entire life. I've taken many a drug test. I've been hotboxed all the time. Nothing came up. So, listen. Who cares? She smoked. Who cares? Like it just.
No one cares.
No one cares, and whatever. It's only in Michigan, right? She can fight in Vegas. She can fight everywhere else. So I don't think it's a big deal. You know what I mean? But it is. It is kind of funny to see that. Now I want to go back to what we were talking about before in regards to SHAKUR Stevenson and a Gervonta Davis fight because Eddie Hearn had this to say about a possible matchup.
Schofield fights, the Lamont Roach fights. How many of them do you guys really want to see? You want to see them two in together. So get through Saturday night. Let's just make it happen. Tank v SHAKUR. It's the best fight in boxing. And on we go.
It is, but then, it's... I don't know. Is it difficult? You would historically when it's different promoters that...
You got His Excellency. If he wants to make that fight, he'll make it happen. So fingers crossed.
But you also have Tank's demands, too, that he's...
And that's not under my control, but hopefully Tank wants to be in the biggest fights in boxing, and that's the biggest fight to be made in the sport, in my opinion, especially around his weight class.
I know you got to...
One thing that stuck out to me, what he said, right? It's the biggest fight at 135, but it's getting closer to Keyshawn Davis being the biggest fight at 135. 2, Tank wanted to be a part of great fights. That's not the case. We all know it's not the case. Tank wants the biggest bag. Now, what Eddie Hearn and Turkey have in their favor is apparently, and this is what I'm hearing, he's not getting the amount of money that he's wanted, and that's what's kind of caused a lot of friction behind closed doors. They don't want to continue to pay out an obscene amount of money to fight guys like Frank Martin and Lamont Roach that aren't in demand. Not saying they're bad fighters, but they're not in demand. So that is where what Turkey has in his favor, because the people that are going to pay him are them. So I think that's where they have the advantage of. Now, in terms of him fighting SHAKUR, I don't think he has any desire to. So I want to see what type of a bag that they are going to offer him. And also, there's been rumors of, and again, I don't want to, allegedly, him having tax problems, owing tax money. So it may be a situation where it might be the right place, the right time, because he needs to clear some of this debt or make some of this money back, right? So Turkey Galaxy may have a chance in that fight. What's your take on what I just said and also what Eddie Hearn was saying?
So the fact of the matter is that Tank would rather fight SHAKUR.
Yep.
Like he would rather fight Stevenson. Tank wants no part of Keyshawn Davis because
Really? Okay.
Well, Keyshawn Davis can beat Tank, right? The only way you're beating Tank is you got to have the power and the boxing ability to keep Tank off of you.
Okay.
You can't lack one of those.
Okay.
Because we've seen it in every one of his opponents. SHAKUR Stevenson has the boxing ability to try to run around, but Tank, I'm on Tank's side. Like I think Tank eventually catches up with Stevenson during a fight, and Tank is and and Tank wins the fight by knockout. I don't think
Okay.
Stevenson could take the shot too much, and it's no knock against Stevenson for his boxing ability. I just think Tank catches up
Yeah.
with everybody eventually, and we see it.
Yeah.
With Keyshawn Davis, I don't know how well Tank would be able to catch up, and I think Keyshawn Davis would keep Tank off of him, making it a more competitive fight. Not saying Tank wouldn't catch up to Davis and beat him, but I think it's a closely more competitive fight because of the styles, right? I saw you last week. I forget who were you on with last week. What was his name again? I'm sorry.
What did he look like? It was
Dreads.
Oh,
He was.
my man Hamza. Yeah.
Hamza. Yeah. So he was against the fact that styles make fights. I remember that comment specifically, but I totally disagree with that. Styles definitely make fights according to the outcome.
Yes.
So, but yes, I agree with Eddie Hearn that is the fight to make because it's more. You want Tank, and honestly, you want Tank to get the knockout because that is what sells. That is the exciting part. That you want people to tune in, hoping that Tank knocks out Stevenson. People want to see that. People would love to see that. I do kind of think that people are, I don't want to say tired of Stevenson, but I think that just in the narrative we talked about before, like his fights are relatively boring.
Yep.
There's a narrative for that. There's a narrative that his hands are jacked up. There's a narrative that he's not fighting people and he's sending contracts to everybody. So you want to put him in with the big name against Tank, and that's kind of what you want. And Davis' star power hasn't grown enough to Stevenson's star power to make that fight to be more profitable. So that's why the Tank v. Stevenson is the most logical fight at 135.
To your point, and we were saying before that Shakur needs a big performance in order to really sell that fight. Now, also, styles do make fights. And I think, and this is my opinion, I got Shakur winning the fight prior to knowing his hands were damaged. And I think that's my biggest concern is the fact that he can't keep Tank off of him, right? But also, I say that to say that Gervonta also knows that. If Gervonta sees that, I got a wounded animal in front of me, he's not going to be, he can't hurt me at all. He can't keep me off him. I think that may be more appealing now. And I think you're right in terms of rather than fight Keyshawn Davis, which Keyshawn Davis is a big 135-pound fighter. He's not. He made Berichek look like a 108-pound fighter. Like he looked completely bigger than him, and I think Berichek is bigger than Tank, if I'm not mistaken.
Davis is a weight bully at this point.
Yes, and I think you're right in that sense. He does contain the pop. He is bigger. He can control Gervonta in the ring, surely with his size. But my question would be the boxing ability. I think Shakur is a better pure boxer, but the other intangibles Keyshawn definitely has. So to me, to your point, I do believe it might be more likely to happen now, because the financial situation Gervonta may be trying to get out of or try to gain, and also the fact that he may see that he has a wounded animal in front of him. So I mean, we might could get it now. Do we get it in May? I don't know, but I mean, I hope it does happen. I hope we do get that fight. And, Eddie Hearn's like, we don't want to see the Frank Martin. He kind of took a little couple digs, but at the same time, he's absolutely right. I don't want to see Lamar Roach.
If you're right, well, that's going to happen March 1st. So that would be a 2-month layoff for Tank now. So if that happens, if Tank turns around and fights, so Cinco de Mayo in May, right? We got Canelo. And then you put Gervonta Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson, which would also be a 2-month layoff. If Shakur Stevenson, which this is completely unheard of. If this happens in May, with both of them having or Stevenson having a 2-week layoff and Tank having a 2-month and 1 week layoff, that would be unheard of. So there would be something fishy there going on as far as Tank's money situation and also the control that Turki Al-Sheikh has. Yeah. So that would be nuts to see that fight, but I'm all for it.
I thought it would happen on the same card because I mean the paydays alone would be absolutely absurd. You know what I mean? And I think, and again, that fight is the May fight is in Saudi, if I'm not mistaken. It's in Saudi Arabia.
The Cinco de Mayo one or this one?
The Cinco de Mayo one is the one Canelo's fighting in May versus Skull. I think is in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Because I think 3 of the 4 fights are supposed to be Saudi Arabia. The one in America is in September at Allegiant Stadium. So that would be in Saudi Arabia. So I don't know why Canelo would even fight on Cinco de Mayo on in Saudi Arabia. But
so you think the Stevenson Tank fight would be its own fight at the end of May?
I think it's just too expensive. I mean, listen, Canelo gets a certain amount of money, right? Gervonta, although it's behind, it ain't him paying Benavidez type money. You know, it ain't $5 million. You know, he's gonna ask upwards of $30 million, maybe 20. Especially if I Shakur, he's probably gonna push it to 50. You know what I mean? So that would be one of the most expensive cards, and to have it in Saudi Arabia would be absolutely absurd. Absurd.
You're right.
So, but again, I do think that, and I'm more of a believer now that the fight with him, with Tank and Shakur, will happen this year. And it's really because, like I said, the wounded animal and maybe the fact that he wants to see the money that he believes he's worth, and Turkey's the one willing to dish it out. You know what I mean?
That'd be nuts, man. That would be nuts.
Yeah, no, I listen. Just and when you watch Gervonta's last interview, you know, he kind of walks things down. Like, he kind of put his foot in his mouth, and he kind of was like, yeah, you know, I said what I said about Tank because I felt disrespected because Devin was his, what Turkey said, because Devin was his horse. So I felt like, you know, I would have to go to Saudi Arabia and knock him out in order to win. Like, basically calling a setup. So he kind of walked it, like, backtracked and said, yeah, you know, I'm open for business. We all know what it is. Let's be real. If Al Heyman was giving you what you wanted, you would keep the same attitude at this point, you know. And
Yep.
you know, I want to see if Timothy Bradley walks what he said down about if Gervonta were to go to Turkey and kiss the ring. I want to see what he says about that. You know what I mean? But we're gonna see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do one more subject because I know you're a busy man. You know.
Yes, sir.
But I found this very interesting. Tito Mercado, and Shakur's all over the news all the time, right? Comes out and says, "I'll take the place of Kid Schofield. Send me the tickets and I'll gladly whip your ass." And Shakur Stevenson basically told him he'll spit on his mother's pussy. I've never seen a response of somebody wanting to spit on somebody's mother's vagina. I've never.
That's nasty.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Now, I seen that and it made me laugh because what about Tito Mercado gets Shakur Stevenson like this? Like, I've never seen Shakur talk to anyone like this. What about Tito Mercado is getting Shakur Stevenson riled up like this? Talk to me.
I don't know. We both interviewed him, right? You interviewed Cheeto,
No, yeah,
correct?
I'm trying to set up for this week.
Okay, so yeah, I already interviewed him, and I do the theme with the mind of a knockout artist, and I saw all his other interviews, so I steered away from the calling out Stevenson and everybody, and we touched on it, but we did a different interview. But I watched his fight against Pedraza, and then I watched him afterwards against Stevenson, and you're right. I don't know. Mercado called him out. And Stevenson was like a raging, ravenous, like spit flying, like he could not contain himself when Mercado called him out. And there's something there. I don't know what Stevenson's issue is there because Tito Mercado, like, let's keep it real with that young man. Like, he's a school of hard knocks. He came up like he wasn't coddled, like he wasn't groomed. Like, he came up like fighting the hard fights, and he has a nonprofit gym, and like the story of Tito Mercado is fantastic. So he's a hardworking young man from California, just trying to get it and become a world champion. So I don't understand the absolutely savage response from Stevenson that fight night against Pedraza and on social media, because there's no way that Mercado, who's at 140, is making the weight to 135 to come fight him on on Saturday.
Absolutely.
So I don't know what to tell you about that. So,
But it's just you're right. Like you're bro. When he fought Pedraza, right, and whatever knocks him out, it's like he took a shot. He said, you know what? And he was before that he was talking a lot of crap about everybody, right? He came, he seen Stevenson, and he took his shot. And I kid you not. You know when they say, "Damn, that girl is bad as hell," but if you don't say nothing, you never know if she's gonna respond. He got the response from the bad bitch, and she responded in a way exactly how he wanted. But it kind of killed me because I'm like, Shakur, now you have just given this guy the avenue to now in just abuse you on social media, and you're probably gonna have to fight him. You can't ignore it because the way you've reacted. You said you spit on his mother's vagina. You went to the mother jokes. Like,
wow.
Shakur. I mean, I love it. I'm not gonna. I love it because I don't know what it is, and when I interviewed McCarthy, I'm like, what did you do to this man?
Yes.
Did you like his baby mother's photos? Is there something going on behind the scenes? Because the way he reacted, I don't know what you did to him, but that man lost it. And listen, that night I thought about it. I was like, yeah, why is he reacting like that? Like he's kind of like, yo, we're a bitch. This and I'm like, all right. But when I seen this, and I'm gonna put it again for you guys. When I seen this, I mean, he responds crazy in the DM. What do you think? He wasn't gonna put this out. He wasn't gonna say anything about this.
Of course he was going to, right?
100%. 100%. It kills me. It's crazy. And Shakur says, you can't make 135 pounds or I would have sent the contract. Bro, you just said you send the contract. So if this man turns around next week and says, hey, Shakur, I can make 135 in May. I could be a tune-up to fight Gervonta. What are you going to say then? Are you going to say no? Are you going to go fight Schofield? I'll tell you this right now. I'd rather see you fight Mercado than Schofield right now. I'm just being real with you. And I think there's a lot of people that agree with me.
I want to see Stevenson fight Mercado over Tank.
Wow, that's
like
crazy.
I don't care about the Tank fight. Like the Tank fight, like Tank's legacy and what it is. It is what it is all I can say. Like we see the caliber of opponents at what point in their careers that he fights them.
Yep.
So you made the point, and I agree with you. Like Tank puts butts in seats. Tanks get the pay-per-views because he knocks people out, and that's what he does. Like I know that Tank is a great fighter. He's probably elite, but I don't know for 100% fact because he hasn't fought the real people in order to confirm. But I know he has quote unquote talent on loan from God. Like I know he has it, but he hasn't proved it yet. So like that to the side, like I will take Stevenson versus Mercado over any other fight at 135 right now. 100% hands down. I would love to see that fight.
I know I would too. And again, I think this Twitter war is going to get worse and worse and worse. And Mercado knows that he cannot. You know, like when they tell you don't say anything, just leave it alone, and the person just can't. I can't. I have to respond to this guy. He's beneath me. He's like he has to respond. And all he's doing is getting this guy's buzz up, and it's absolutely incredible. And if Mercado continues to do what he's doing, knocking people out, guys, we're probably gonna have to see this fight. We're gonna see it. And Mercado, he could talk, man. Like he's really like, bro, fuck all these guys. You know what I mean? So I'm with you. And again, what you said about the Gervonta thing, I got to double down on it. I'm with you. Like we all know he's extremely talented, right? But at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of talented guys that have never won a Super Bowl, right? They've never won a Super Bowl. And do we look at them the same way that we look at the guys that have won the Super Bowls? No. And it's the same thing for Tank. The Tank is never unified. Why?
How long has he had the WBA belt? Like all he's doing is sitting there holding on to the WBA belt and doing nothing else.
Yeah.
For like years at this point.
Yeah.
Like 4 fights. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no, listen, and I'm one of his biggest critics, right? And listen, I just want to see you be great, bro. I can't sit here and lie and like the other fans, like, oh, he's this, he's that. You prove you're great when you beat the best, and that's just it. You know what I mean? And again, this is the second time around. Remember, at one point he had Lomachenko, Haney, Teofimo, Ryan. They were all in his division. He let them leave. Now we're back again, and now we have Lomachenko, we have Shakur, we have Keyshawn Davis at 135. They're all there. What are you going to do now, Tank? It's back in your hands. Are you going to make these great fights happen?
I'll tell you this. I want to see Mercado versus all of them.
Yeah, he's dope.
Mercado Tank, make it. Mercado Teofimo Lopez, make it. Just make it. Like I'm a hashtag Tito Mercado fan.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to see him against anybody at 135. Like, let's go.
How annoyed would Shakur Stevenson be if Mercado gets the fight before him? How annoyed? Do you understand what social media? Elon Musk would have to. He would have to take his account down. Shakur.
He would.
Shakur's
He
gonna
would.
lose his shit. I don't know what it is about Tito Mercado, but listen, Shakur Stevenson hates this man with a passion. I don't know why, but the guy rubs him the wrong way, man. I really, I don't know. But absolutely, man, we got to do this again, man. I love having you on, bro. It was a dope conversation, man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You know what I mean? It was definitely a lot of fun. You know, we'll be on we'll be Saturday. I'll probably be on tomorrow again. Listen, I'm always around, man. Whenever you need me, I'm here, my brother.
I'm going out tomorrow night, but I'll be home, later. But I will be around. If I see you on, I will.
Yeah, man, you're
jump
welcome
on.
anytime, man. Definitely, we definitely gonna show love. Let them know where they can find you, brother.
Hey, I mean, Absolutely Boxing. We're on all platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. We just started our new segment on YouTube called Gloves Off, so you'll see. We do the same kind of podcast. We do a pre-recorded and we post it. So me and Nick from Absolutely Boxing, who is almost rarely seen, he makes his appearances on Sundays, and he's behind the scenes, but on scene on Sundays. But I appreciate you allowing me to shout everything out. But
Absolutely.
Norb, you're the man. I repost your stuff. I share it to my stories.
Thank
and
you, I appreciate it.
We're like-mindedness, and I hope next segment we can disagree some more. I like disagreeing.
Great minds think alike, man. Like, listen, I mean, if you bring a good point up, I can't go against it. I'm like, look, you bring up some good points.
I agree. So I'm gonna next segment we do together, I'm gonna play devil's advocate on everything you bring up, and I'm going against you hard. I'm gonna make a case for everything against you.
Listen,
Okay?
I'm with it, man. I'm up for the challenge, and then whenever you need me on your stuff, let me know. I'm here, bro. Let's definitely connect, man.
You are welcome anytime, my guy. Thanks so much for having me.
Appreciate you, brother. Again, that was my guy, Absolutely Boxing. Make sure y'all tune in to him. I'm going to take a break for the rest of the night. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. This weekend, it was almost 200 people in the chat. I definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to give you great content, and we're going to take this boxing world over. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to people that hate me. Shout out to people that love me. Shout out to the people that support me. Again, we're going to continue to grow. And, yeah, we are out of here. Shout out to Claressa Shields. You know what I mean? I feel you. They try to play you. You know what I'm saying? No more smoking that Reggie before events, all right? They don't got no good weed in Detroit, okay? I know that for sure. There's no good weed in Detroit, all right? So on that note, we are out of here, man. I love y'all.